이렇게 혈액 검사를 보면
네.
이 사람이 외부에서 주사를 맞은 사람이다.
그건 당연히 알 수 있죠.
아, 그래요?
외국 유명 보디빌더가 가수 김종국 씨의 약물 의혹을 제기했습니다. 나이로 보았을 때 호르몬을 쓰지 않고는 불가능한 몸이라고 강조했는데요.
세계 최초 로이드 의심받는 발라드 가수 김종국입니다.
What's up guys, Derek from PlayToMoreDates.com. Today we are going to be talking about Kim Jong Kook. This guy is a very famous Korean singer, as well as he's not like a physique star, like he doesn't compete in the Olympia or anything, but he started a gym, like a fitness related YouTube channel recently, and it's exploded in popularity. Like it's gained millions of subscribers in a matter of months, and the views are insane, dude. Like here he is just vlogging stuff, gym workout, 6.4 million views with his upper body workout. Rooftop workout, 3.4 million views. Today is Jong Kook's leg day, 1.2 million. Here's a singing thing. So anyways, he is 45, which is absolutely insane when you look at what he looks like, because he doesn't look 45 at all. He looks extremely young. Like you would think this guy is, what, in his 20s, I would think? I don't know, like it almost reminds me of Chwando Tan, or whatever his name was. I did a video on him before. What was it? Go to, I'll show you on my YouTube channel here. So I believe it was Chwando. Yeah, it was, he's 50. This guy's defying age like next level, like even above and beyond Kim Jong Kook. This guy, Chwando Tan, is like 56 now, I think, or 55 maybe still. But he looks like he's definitely at most, I don't know, 30? Like, I don't know. He looks fucking young, and he has a sick physique, and he's well known for, I don't know, he's like the anti-aging guy because he just looks disproportionately young for his age. And there are some of these guys in the industry that, and oftentimes it seems like they are Asian. I don't know what it is. Like they just stay very youthful. It's like there's this joke, at least in the comment section of the video, that it's like they look exceptionally young until they just hit like a threshold where all of a sudden they just look old like overnight sort of thing. It's like they go from looking like they're in their 20s to looking like a grandpa or something in like 2 seconds. I don't know like how accurate that really is. Like maybe it's just a joke, but he looks exceptionally young and he looks great. It reminds me of the Chwando thing. Chwando, I don't know how to say it. Apologies if that is wrong. And his physique is great as well, like I mentioned. If you look at some of these the YouTube videos, he has like a sick men's physique, fitness model-esque build. Maybe not like an Olympia caliber men's physique obviously, but like he could easily be, you know, like a fitness model. Not just a good voice. Kim Jong Kook also has perfect abs. He's looking like embarrassed showing off his abs. He has his people trying to like, you know, pull it up for him. And he's like in physical pain because he doesn't want to show off because he's so humble. Here he is, my little old boy. Chilling, looking pretty nutty here. Doing a curl with, was it 8 kilograms? I don't know. So anyways, this is the transformation, presumably 1995, 2001, 2016, till 2020, looking beefy as fuck, bro. Now the controversy is recently Greg did a natty or not on him, which, you know, wasn't very well received apparently. 7.3K likes, 20K dislikes. So obviously it seems like I don't know, like the fan base of this guy basically like came to his aid essentially and like very heavily downvoted the video. I actually don't even know if this is gonna show up because I heard that YouTube is like getting rid of dislikes, so I can still see it, but I mean, maybe you won't be able to see it soon. But anyways, if you Google it, this is actually like in the news. After saying Kim Jong Kook could be on steroids, fitness, earlier last week, a famous Canadian fitness trainer raised suspicions about Kim Jong Kook using steroids. Kim Jong Kook enjoys steroid abuse allegation by Canadian YouTuber. Singer and entertainer Kim Jong Kook, who has gained more than 2 million subscribers just months after a lot, blah, blah, blah. Fitness YouTuber clarifies Kim Jong, sorry, I can't even fucking talk now. Jong Kook accusation, but the internet is not convinced. Jong Kook confidently denies allegations of steroid use. Jong Kook says he will take 391 doping tests to prove he is natural, presumably. 391, bro. Like, that is quite a bit. Singer Jong Kook stated he will be taking doping tests to bring an end to the suspicion raised by bodybuilder fitness trainer Greg Doucette. On October 31st, Greg Doucette posted a video with the title Jong Kook, Natty or Not, on his YouTube channel, and raised suspicion that Jong Kook is abusing steroids to obtain his figure. Following the controversy and speculations, Jong Kook announced on his Instagram that he will be getting a doping test to clear any speculations about him. So where was that? This one, he's playing golf here. Here he is, an ad for protein. Did he delete it, or is that an Instagram story? Let's see. I will be taking 391 doping tests based on the 2022 WADA, World Anti-Doping Association, which has every single illegal drug updated until the most recent one, he added. It will take a lot of time and money, but I believe it will be worth it, presumably. I will prove I am not using any hormones, furthermore, any drugs. He concluded by saying, I sincerely thank everyone who helped me. I take this opportunity to prove any drugs in addition to the hormone usage that I was suspected of. I look forward to learning the maturity to acknowledge and respect differences. So, I don't know, maybe some translational errors here, because that doesn't really make grammatical sense, I'm assuming. So, just basically saying he's gonna take a drug test to prove he's natty. Now again, if you get one snapshot in time of your status, essentially, is that going to prove anything other than at that snapshot in time during your urine analysis and your blood draw, if you're actually getting blood too? Does that prove anything above and beyond that you were clean for a transient period of time around the test? Like, not really, dude. You could, definitely lay out an argument that there is a lesser likelihood that you're enhanced if you're maintaining certain performance metrics up until the test. But again, a lot of these have like a bleed through effect where you're not going to just fall off in terms of performance when you get stuff out of your system. So again, this is why when Lex Little got drug tested and we sent him for blood work randomly, that, like, for him, it was a bit different because he actually had months of longitudinal data leading up to the powerlifting meet where you could see what was going on with his max lifts, like literally his PR attempts. You could see if he was getting weaker or not, or just sustaining his strength, or literally gaining strength towards the competition, despite, like, if he had drugs clearing out of his system for months prior or weeks prior, like, you would see some aberration in performance metrics, but you didn't. And then he still tested clean using the WADA banned substance panel from urine analysis. And then above and beyond that, we tested his gonadotropins for HCG, for bioidenticals, like everything was essentially taken into account. Whereas for Jong Kook, what do I think that is going to be comprehensive and bulletproof like that? No, because he's not entering a tested meet as a competitor, nor does he have any like longitudinal data to kind of like reinforce anything really. So this snapshot in time might prove he's natural for the time being, but it doesn't really give a lot of insight into like your natural status for life. So I don't know, like I'll see what the video is like, but basically people wanted my stance on, apparently he put up his drug test results in his video, and they wanted to get my interpretation of the drug test results and just kind of get see if it like exonerates him or not. So Greg did another follow-up. It would seem I pissed off Korea. Jong Kook fake natty ? So following that, Jong Kook puts up this, which is HRT, TRT, please work out more. So basically asserting that, like, I watched most of the video and it sounds like he's just saying, like, when he's getting older, he works out harder to compensate for the fact that he needs to train harder and like do more effort to continue to progress or sustain his progress, given that he's getting older and it's not necessarily a matter of, oh, just take hormones to, fill in the gaps essentially. So he shows his blood test results, which we're going to be getting into in this video. So here he is talking to a doctor. We can put up closed captioning, and it actually seems pretty like, I don't know, I guess Koreans, please tell me if this is like accurate in terms of the translations or not, but he asked the doctor, can you tell if a person is injected or not?
주사를 맞은 사람이다.
그건 당연히 알 수
아,
있죠.
그래요?
Says, of course, really? And it's like, yeah, if your gonadotropins are suppressed, if certain metrics are off, it's kind of easy to identify if something's going on. But again, like there's a reason why Olympic athletes are still doping. There's a reason why professional athletes are doping. It's not if people are randomly tested using the bulletproof testing that you're hopefully getting access to one time, and they're being subjected to this testing randomized throughout the entire year, and some of them are still getting away with it, like what is the likelihood that this is going to reinforce credibility? Like, again, like I said, I'm expecting that at best this might exonerate him for this period of time, but unfortunately it does not really set the standard for, you know, people are just gonna say, well, you've been using it before and then you fucking, you know, cleared it out of your system, is what a lot of people will say. But maybe I'm wrong, maybe they do something else to kind of reinforce the, you know, justification that he is indeed natural, but let's see. So he goes in, he gets blood drawn, presumably here.
직원분들과 많은 분들을 이렇게 또 돌봐주시는 신용주 원장님이시고, 제가 그 남성 호르몬을 만든다, 이게 막 뉴스에도 나오고 그랬어요. 그래서 제가 하루라도 빨리 이걸 이제 검증을 좀 하면 좋겠다 싶어서 남성 호르몬 수치를 검사를 한 걸 어느 정도 나오잖아요.
미국에서 메이저리그 야구 선수들이 이 주사 맞고 이슈가 됐었죠.
맞아요.
테스토스테론도 일종의 스테로이드입니다. 뭐 치료를 하고 나서 굉장히 달라진 것도 느껴지고요. 수치에 극명한 차이가 보입니다. 저희 병원에서는 우리 종국 씨는 맞은 적이 없는데요.
So yeah, I don't remember giving you any.
선생님이 이렇게 혈액 검사를 보면 이 사람이 외부에서 주사를 맞은 사람이다.
그건 당연히 알 수 있죠.
그래요? 2년 전에 9.24가 나왔어요.
9.24요?
네.
뭐 맞으신 거 아니에요?
이게 자연...
So 9.24. So if you translate that into the nanogram per deciliter unit of measurement that we're familiar with in the West, in the US, like Canada doesn't even fucking use it, but in the US, like most of us are familiar with nanograms per deciliter, and I use nanograms per deciliter even though I'm in Canada, and that's, you know, obviously what Merrick Health uses and all of, you know, the USA uses basically, LabCorp, Quest, etc. So we're basically looking at 924 nanogram per deciliter total testosterone level. So we don't know what his free is. We don't know what his SHBG is. We don't know if his gonadotropins are in range, identifying that he has no negative feedback to his HPTA. So despite the fact that it's like a high normal test level. So that's where the joke came in. He's like, are you sure you're not on it answers?
제 몸에서 나오는 거라면 진짜.
Now, like, what's the likelihood of producing that much when you are in your 40s? Like, again, it's not common, but like, I have a friend who's in his mid to late 30s. I actually introduced him on the channel before, Kevin, and he has a 1600 naturally. Now, he has an interesting history medically, which maybe he'll discuss at some point on his channel, but he's basically perpetually walking around like 1600, 1700, and you know, for somebody who interprets like blood tests and, you know, like natty or not shit and like diagnostics and blood doping kind of related content, it was baffling for me to see this like with somebody I'm close with in real life, just like, wow, like his gonadotropins are all in range. His total test historically for his entire life has been like the mid thousands, like 1500, 1600, 1700, like forever. Like it's fucking wild. So is it impossible to have 900 and something in your 40s? Naturally, no, it's just rare. And again, it doesn't mean just because you have a 900 that you're going to be super jacked. Like there are guys with, you know, 500, 600 totals who are more jacked than guys who have, you know, 800, 900s. Like it's not, it comes down to a lot of different factors. Muscle growth, some of it's androgen receptor content, some of it is AR expression itself at the gene expression level. Like there's so much stuff that goes into it. Myostatin, the amount of muscle cells you actually have, all this kind of stuff factors into your actual hypertrophic response. Not just the sheer amount of testosterone floating around in your serum.
대단한 거죠.
정확한 컷 밸류는 없어요. 5 정도로 보고 있습니다.
그럼 제가 주사를 맞고 있다, 내추럴로 몸에서 그냥 본인이 생성하는 거다 판단하려면 그거는 이제 따로 검사를 다른 데 해야 되는 건가요?
아니, 혈액 검사로 충분히 가능해요. 남성 호르몬하고 연관된 호르몬 수치하고 남성 호르몬을 만들기 위한 전구 물질 호르몬들이 있어요. 주사를 외부적인 공급을 했나 아니면 스스로 나왔는지를 결정해줄 겁니다. 오해가 있을 수 있어서 아예 외부 기관을 하겠습니다.
사실 개인적으로는 남성 호르몬이 많이 안 떨어졌으면 좋겠습니다. 왜냐면 또 저희 자랑이기 때문에. 이거 운동을 많이 하면 좀 올라가죠?
올라가죠. 남성 호르몬을 올릴 수 있는 방법은 딱 2가지 방법밖에 없습니다. 외부에서 주입하든지 운동하든지.
Okay, obviously it's not the only 2 ways to raise your test. Like, what about actual nutrient ingestion? What about proper sleep hygiene? What about proper circadian rhythm? What about actual supplementation, you know, inhibiting aromatase? Like there's a lot of shit that will alter the way your body's physiologic functions and endogenous secretion of testosterone works. But anyway.
그러면 월요일날 다시 뵙도록
네, 알겠습니다.
예,
네.
감사합니다. 예.
자, 이거나 정말 살다 이슈가 있었죠. 해외 서양 유튜버 분께서 그렇게 하셨을 때 그냥 웃고 넘겼어요. 아무렇지도 않게.
Okay, so I guess he's gonna be talking about, you know, why he wants to prove he's natural, blah, blah, blah. You know, it's a 17-minute video. I don't want to react to the whole thing. Let's fast forward to the test results because that's mainly what I want to give my stance on here. Let's see.
네, 나왔어요. 김종욱님은
네네.
그 전에 그 호르몬 수치가 얼마였죠?
9.24가 나왔습니다.
So he had a 924 nanogram per deciliter total before.
이번에는 좀 떨어졌는데요.
아,
8.38, 9.24에서
So 838. So notice here, their reference range in Korea, presumably, is 197 to 670 nanograms per deciliter for a under 50-year-old male, I would assume. So basically all you do, by the way, if you aren't familiar with nanograms per milliliters for this unit of measurement, you would take their reference range and multiply it by 100 to get the nanogram per deciliter total that we're familiar with. So this is 197 to 670. He has 838, which is high by their standard. But again, this is like reference ranges are variable depending on the population, demographic, where you live in the world, etc. And 838 would be like high normal in a lot like, you know, LabCorp, Quest. In the States, this would not be high. Like this to Koreans might almost look more suspect because they're used to seeing the highest end of the reference range being 670. If you see an 838, you're like, you're high, like what's going on? This must be, you know, representative of enhancement. But this is actually a normal testosterone reading by our metrics in the States. So what else do we have here? We have an IGF-1 of 125, vitamin D of 57.3, DHEA sulfate, which is 99.4, total T and free T. So let's see, no gonadotropins though. So it's gonna be interesting to hear the doctor trying to explain how this proves he's natural, because you have not proved anything with this, to be honest. Like, where's the indication there's no negative feedback to the HPTA? Like, I don't see it on the blood work.
아 열받아. 8.38.
네.
높은 거죠?
아, 매우 높습니다. 성장기가 지나게 되면
네네.
연령에 따라서 감소하게 돼 있거든요.
그렇죠.
김종국님 나이에
네.
요 호르몬 수치는 상위 한 1% 안에
그래요?
들어간 수치예요.
예,
8.38도
예.
굉장히 높습니다.
네네.
의학적 상식선으로
네,
봤을
그냥
때
예, 객관적인 소견만
그-
말씀해 주시면 될 것 같습니다.
테스토스테론을 만드는 전고 물질이 있어요.
네네네.
그것 또한 평균 이상이에요.
그 사람의 말을 정확하게 표현하죠.
So I think he's referring to, because what else was on there, right? He's like, there's a precursor to testosterone. Yours is also high. And it's like, what did we even see on that blood test? Is we saw DHEA-S, which is the sulfated, again, DHEA-S. So trying to explain that a adrenal steroid is somehow indicative of like why your test is where it is when it's like fractional of your testosterone production. Like this is way more insightful in women when they have far less, you know, like there's no intratesticular testosterone production in women, obviously. In men, the vast majority of this is going to be driven through Leydig cell stimulation through luteinizing hormone coming from your pituitary. So again, if we don't have luteinizing hormone and follicle stimulating hormone on this blood test panel, we can't see really proof of anything, unfortunately. So I'm not really sure what he's going to say here that is going to justify this in any capacity. Like he says, the precursor that creates testosterone, you're gonna say DHEA, like on a steroidogenesis chart, sure. So yeah, like if you take, you know, the biosynthesis of testosterone via, you know, from cholesterol, okay, on paper we can see that it leads to the creation of DHEA, and then downstream to that we have, you know, testosterone being produced. But ultimately, Leydig cell stimulation, the primary production of DHEA in serum is going to be like adrenal. But when you have testosterone being produced from Leydig cell stimulation, like the main thing we're concerned with is not necessarily adrenal output or DHEA serum concentrations or sulfated DHEA serum concentrations. We're interested in how much LH and FSH is actually being pulsed out of the pituitary in response to a lack of negative feedback, because this is actually what's producing your straight testosterone in your balls, because you would not have that if you were shut down from exogenous testosterone, steroids, whatever. So again, let's see what he says and I'll give my further explanation.
을 만드는 전고물질이 있어요.
네네네.
그것 또한 평균 이상이에요.
그 사람의 말을 정확하게 표현하자면
네.
김종국은 지금도 꾸준히 HRT
네.
요법을 사용을 하고 있다라는 게 그 사람의 주장이거든요.
호르몬 대체요법이라 하는데
네.
외부에서 주입하는
네.
요법이에요.
예.
미국에는 그런 클리닉들이 많이 있어요. 미국의 메이저리그 스타들도
네.
문제가 생겼던 것들이 다 호르몬이거든요.
아, 네네네.
그것 또한 HRT예요.
아.
그 세계에서 봤을 때
네네.
분명히 이해하기
네.
어려울 거예요. 동양인이 40대가
네.
수치와 이 몸을 유지할 수 있냐.
네.
자기들은 그걸 유지하기 위해서 외부에서 주입을 많이 하죠. 메리 본즈라는
네네, 알고
유명한 스타 있잖아요.
네네네.
그분도 HRT죠. 로저 클레멘스라는
네네네.
미국의 최고의 양키스 투수도
네.
HRT로서 명예전당 못 올라가지 않습니까?
남성 호르몬이 떨어져 있으면
네.
아까 얘기하신 점검 물질 자체도 떨어져 있나요?
같이 떨어져 있어요. 그 외부에서 주입하더라도
네.
테스토스테론 수치가
네.
뭐 2, 3이 갑자기 8, 9 이렇게 올라가기 쉽지 않아요.
외부에서 주입을 하면 이 점검 물질은 안 올라가나요?
안 올라갑니다. 저번에 검사했을 때
네.
남성 호르몬 수치보다는
네네.
떨어졌지만
떨어졌지만.
동년배에 비해서
네네.
월등히 높고 그 전에 비교해봤을 때
네네.
전고물질
네네.
정상 범위보다 훨씬 높고 또 운동에서 상승이
그렇겠죠.
되거든요.
네.
그게 자연스럽게 변환돼서 올라간 수치니.
Yeah, so like your hormones can vary quite dramatically depending on the time of day you got your blood drawn. Like again, like who knows if he got his blood drawn at the exact same time with the exact same circumstances as last time, so his test might be exactly the same. And it's just maybe he went a couple hours later than last time, or he got a worse sleep, or you know, a few like in the past week, or a few different factors. Maybe his calorie intake is slightly different. Like there's a myriad of factors, but ultimately like his testosterone, I would say, is representative of what it was like before, probably. You know, like I don't think anything's really changed from that time point to this time point that I can at least interpret from the testosterone to the testosterone. But again, that doesn't give the whole picture.
그러니까
네네네.
그것만으로 그 외부에서 지휘했다고는 지금 입장에서는 말하기 어렵습니다.
아유, 고맙습니다.
여기만 보시면 되고
네네.
본인 그 기록이 있기 때문에
아,
그
그렇죠,
별
그렇죠.
수치만 보시면 됩니다.
예예예. 감사합니다. 네. 자, 이제 제가 그 검사 결과를 아까 이제 다 이제 보셨고요. 뭐 어차피 믿을 사람만 믿을 거지만 40세 이후부터는 호르몬이 점차 떨어지기 때문에 지속적으로 몸이 좋아지면서 이런 운동 능력과 45세 지금 현재 불과 한 달 전에 영상까지 그런 어떤 운동 활동, 어떤 몸의 어떤 컨디션을 가질 수가 없다. 불가능하다. 1억 분의 1이다 라고 그분이 얘기를 해서 이 모든 논란이 시작이 됐습니다. 그분의 주장은 40세 이후부터 아마도 HRT, 호르몬 대체요법을 지속적으로 사용해 왔을 것이다. 호르몬 대체요법을 사용하고 있기 때문에 내추럴이 아니다가 그분의 주장입니다. 어쨌든 로무새들의 종착역은 옛날에 약을 썼기 때문에 확인이 안 된다로 갈 거는 뻔합니다. 옛날에 했기 때문에 안 나온다. 이게 뭔 소리죠? 그 사람의 주장과 로무새들의 주장이 아예 말이 안 되는 주장이잖아요. 제가 외부에서 뭔가 다른 어떤 무언가를 또 받았다. 어쨌든 도핑을 하고 있잖아요. 도핑에는 나올 겁니다. 그죠? 어느 정도 뭐가 됐던 간에 지금 이게 공론화되고 나서 저는 가장 제가 할 수 있는 한 빠르게 움직였다고 생각을 하거든요. 뭐 시간을 얘기하기도 좀 제가 호르몬 대처법을 지속적으로 사용해 왔다라는 거에 본인의 주장에 대한 이 문제에 대한 부분을 명확하게 많은 분들이 아셔야 되고 제가 그거에 대해서 이런 결과지를 일단 첫 번째 스텝으로 보여드린 거니까 요거를 여러분들이 잘 보시고 제가 보여드린 검사 결과에 대해서 의사분들이 보시고 이런 환자들을 많이 경험하실 테니까 이 수치는 HRT를 받는 사람이다 혹은 이 수치는 HRT를 받는 사람 같지는 않다 라는 전문의분들의 소견을 좀 대신 그분들은 실명을 일단 얘기를 해주셔야 됩니다. 댓글로 꼭 좀 부탁을 드리도록 하겠습니다. 이제는 상식이 통하는 분들하고의 어떤 소통이라고 저는 생각을 합니다. 그래서 맞는 건 맞고
틀린 건 틀리다라고 상식적으로 판단할 수 있는 사람들, 그런 사람들과 이제 소통하기 위한 목적을 가진 거니까 제가 할 수 있는 최대한을 할 겁니다. 그래서 뭐 도핑에 관련된 것도 그렇고, 그러고 나서 이제 상식이 있는 사람들의 판단에 맡기도록 하겠습니다. 첫 번째 스텝 불가하니까요. 이 첫 번째 결과를 여러분들께 일단 보여드리고, 다른 이제 뭐 도핑이랑 관련된 것들은 또 다음에 제가 말씀드리도록 하겠습니다. 감사드립니다.
Okay, so obviously he's pretty dead set on proving he's natural. He'll take all the tests accordingly and whatnot. So, you know, does this test result indicate that he is exonerated and couldn't be on HRT? No, it doesn't, frankly. Like, this is a very, very rudimentary, limited metric biomarker analysis that only shows your total testosterone and you're free. It would have been at least useful to see your luteinizing hormone and follicle stimulating hormone levels. Without that, we can't assert anything because we can't see if there is negative feedback or not to your HPTA, which would ultimately be present. You would have crashed gonadotropins if you had recently injected testosterone, or any other designer drug or any kind of anabolic steroid in general, even if it wasn't testosterone. So the fact that testosterone is elevated, you know, obviously testosterone's in his bloodstream. However, we can't see via this test if it's exogenously administered or if it's endogenously administered from your balls. So I'm not sure why the doctor would have failed. Like, why would you even add a vitamin D but then fail to put on your gonadotropins? Like, to me, it doesn't make sense. And if you want something actually comprehensive and bulletproof, then you're gonna have to do something like I described with Lex Little. If you haven't seen that video, I recommend checking out the passing of the powerlifting drug test. And I break down in elaborate detail everything you would need to do, which involves the literal WADA entire banned substance list through urine analysis, not through blood, through urine, which would identify any kind of synthetic agents, from anabolic agents, from growth hormones, secretagogues, peptides, etc. Then again, to rule out bioidenticals, that's where you would also need concurrent blood work. And that's why Lex got subjected to concurrent blood work, essentially, in order to rule out things like gonadotropin suppression, to rule out things like elevated IGF-1 levels for HGH abuse, to rule out hematology metric changes for EPO deployment. Not that he would have been fucking using it for a powerlifting meet anyways, but this is how you would rule out stuff as well, using HCG to kind of artificially inflate your natural test levels, because you could otherwise use an LH mimic to increase your natural test levels and make it look like you're natural. But again, that's why you would have the concurrent urine testing and get everything done at the same time, so you can detect any synthetics while simultaneously ruling out any bioidenticals. So you need the concurrent comprehensive urine with the concurrent comprehensive blood, not a piss poor 5 biomarker blood test one time, you know? So again, you would need longitudinal data of performance metrics ideally, whilst concurrently being subjected to randomized testing. This is, you know, harking back to the Matt Does Fitness thing and why it's taken so long, because he lives in the UK and it's not like it's easy to get access to randomized testing when you're not even a fucking athlete. So there's been many conversations between myself, him, and I forget what league it is over there that does the natural federation, and they do random drug testing. But again, trying to facilitate a phlebotomist to concurrently be going with the guy who's doing the urine analysis, making sure it's all legit and it's subject to randomized testing frequently enough to actually exonerate him for a span of time that would be representative if his performance metrics stay the same or improve during that time and his body composition doesn't fall apart. And he's getting blood and urine tested so many fucking times throughout that time period. That would be how to rule out being natural or not. Not one snapshot in time using incomprehensive methods and having a doctor just say like your levels look like good and that's it. And like, we can't tell you weren't doing something or you were doing something necessarily based on this. So that's it, like go home. Like, you know, so unfortunately this doesn't really help his case at all. But it'll be interesting if he goes, you know, the full board like Matt Does Fitness route. Because Matt, as far as I know, I probably have unread messages from him right now trying to get the shit going. But like ultimately, like I'm just here to interpret the results ideally. Like I don't actually have a shit ton of time to be involved in these like randomized, like showing up to people's fucking houses in like the UK or in like Korea or something. So like I'm just here for the fucking ride and to help interpret the situation and you know, give my stance on if something makes sense or not. So for this, unfortunately, insufficient evidence to prove natural. But it should be interesting to see like who who gets the testing done first? Is it gonna be Matt Does Fitness? Is it gonna be It's gonna be Kim Jong Kook. I guess he has a play on words where he calls himself Jong Kook because it's like fitness stuff. So that's actually kind of funny. So anyways, that is it. Let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. All the comments help the algorithm and are much appreciated. Like, subscribe, check out my blog, moreplatemordates.com. Follow my Instagram at moreplatemordates, Facebook, Snapchat, Twitter, TikTok, Apple Podcasts. If you want to support the channel, you can check out anything I'm associated with in the video description below. My TRT clinic, it's all telemedicine from the comfort of your own home. Get high quality medical oversight from doctors who understand how to interpret biomarkers and diagnostics and what to be ordering you in the first place, and how to create an individualized protocol just for you based on your own individual needs, regardless if it involves pharmacology or not, whether you're natural, whether you're enhanced, whatever it is. We're turnkey, and we help all individuals who are seeking to maximize their health, quality of life, vitality, longevity, etc. So check us out. If you do not have a high quality doctor, it's absolutely critical that you get that sorted ASAP, in my opinion, and get high quality diagnostics to see what's under the hood and address any imbalances or deficiencies accordingly. As well, Gorilla Mind, nootropic formulas, Gorilla Mode, pre-workout formulas I designed myself from scratch. I recommend a diet model for gaining muscle and sports performance, as well as anything else I'm associated with that helps support me and the channel. It's all in the video description below. Thank you guys for watching. Talk to you soon.